exhibition within the film industry relies heavily on location, the audience and the appeal of a film. Within this comes two different types of cinemas, the independent art house cinema and the multiplex cinema. Customers will know which type of cinema they are visiting depending on the look of the cinema, whether it is chain owned or independent, and this will also go on the aesthetics of the cinema, the tickets, the advertising and the films that are being shown. In the early 1900s, the lower class were able to access the Nickelodeon cinemas. Being small and simple, they only charged about 5 cents for admission, flourishing from around 1905 to 1915. They had the small admission fee due to the makeshift settings that they were built in the front of shops with makeshift seating. The multiplex or mainstream chain cinemas soon took over until Paramount Studios lost the court case against the US Supreme Court, then more independent cinemas were built. Around the 1950s, the art house cinema grew in popularity and came to the attention of audiences over in the US. They would show different films such as foreign films, documentaries and independent films, a different showcase to the usual Hollywood studio films. Multiplex cinema is a theatre which has multiple screens, different to independent or art house cinemas which usually only have one screen. The first multiplex cinema was built in Kansas City by the American Multi-Cinema Corporation in 1963. Now, currently over 75% of cinemas in the United Kingdom are multiplex. This doesn't mean that there isn't smaller demand for the smaller independent cinemas though. There are still independent cinemas around the UK such as the Quad in Derby, which was originally the Metro but has now merged together. They are not huge and all that popular compared to the multiplex cinemas, but they do have audiences. These include people who are interested in visual arts or films you wouldn't usually see in the multiplex. A lot of the smaller cinemas did close though, due to loss of business because they didn't compete with the multiplex cinemas as they didn't have a big setting, large car parks, large seating areas and also the film choice which was being shown. In the 1980s, distributors would shoot on film and purchase pre-booked cinema slots for their films to be shown. Nowadays, distributors and the production company are two different companies who work together. The distribution deal is an important part of financing a film. With a large distribution company attached to the pre-production of a film, they are more likely to gain extra funding. The release date can have an effect on the film's success. Key dates for films can be major holidays such as Christmas and Valentine's Day. They can play a role in the success of a film due to the issues that it may cover. For example, a rom-com or romantic comedy would do well on Valentine's Day. They can release the films in different ways too. Usually, the film firstly goes into cinematic release being shown at cinemas only. Then it will go to DVD or Blu-ray release, followed by, or at the same time, by online release such as Netflix or on demand. This usually being the case, films have also been known to go straight to DVD releases. This may be down to not being able to secure a distribution deal where they have got the cinema screenings, or it just may be a decision. They can also get distributed online or on the TV. A growing one for this is Netflix. Netflix is a very modern day exhibitionist and distributor, both supplying films, which they have bought the royalties to, but also funding products which they own the sole rights to, such as Orange is the New Black, and more. It makes it very easy for consumers and audiences to access, as with over 10,000 products on for the small price of $5.99 a month, audiences can watch as much as they like without having to leave the house. It brings cinemas into many homes worldwide, a phenomenon only previously accessible with DVD or TV viewing. Viewers associate brands and distribution companies with certain films. These films usually are a franchise which cater to the same audience throughout the films. 20th Century Fox in the UK are associated by a brand with films such as Star Wars and X-Men, both gathering a similar demographic within the audiences. The same company, but on an opposite spectrum, distributing films which could be argued as totally different to the latter as they are animation and catering to a different target audience with films such as Alvin and the Chipmunks and Ice Age. With the internet, the levels of promotion have changed drastically. There are ways of promoting your film now which we never thought of in the 1900s, way before the birth of the computer or the internet. Companies have places to advertise such as billboards, bus stops, newspapers, magazines and posters. They also have their trailers in multiplex cinemas before a film is being shown, all usually relating to the film which the audience is about to watch. They still do all of these things, but also to reach a wider and guaranteed audience, online advertising. This can be anything from adverts on Facebook to reach a specific target audience, and it can also be done through services such as Google, where companies pay to have their advert on certain pages and related pages. Another largely popular way of doing this in the modern age is using YouTube to their advantage. This is a database of videos, films and more what is at the general public's click of the button, and something easier to access now more than ever. You can watch any video, and if it has been what is called monetized, it will have a video advert appear beforehand, sometimes being unable to skip past it or to watch your selected video. This is where companies can pretty much force consumers to watch their trailer. If it is a longer advert, which means that the audience can skip it if they wish so, the company need to make sure that within the first 5 seconds they capture the attention of the audience and makes them keep watching the trailer. One film which did the advertising campaign right was Deadpool. It was one of the most talked about films of 2016 so far. The advertising campaign doesn't just consist of posters and trailers though. In the modern day, to be successful, the company behind the distribution and promotion needs to be clever and to get people talking. We now live in a viral age where information can travel around the world in minutes. In all cases of social media, things which are trending usually get promoted to the top and are talked about even more. Deadpool's advertising campaign consisted of billboards using only emojis to communicate the title across to the audience, which got people asking questions and laughing about the actual gimmick. It was thought to revitalise using the billboard by doing this. They then did an alternative billboard which made the film look as though it was like going to be a romantic movie. Coming out around Valentine's Day too, it did the job of promoting it in the right way this way as well. The next thing that they did in the promotional campaign was to make a profile on the modern day dating website or app, Tinder, featuring the main character himself, Deadpool. All of these things fall into the category of what the modern day internet culture love, so it's definitely got people talking in the right way about the film, spreading its audience far and wide. I came to the conclusion that the audience had become far and wide for Deadpool because of its box office success. With a budget to make the film at $58 million, its opening weekend made, over in the USA, a gross of over $135 million. Its gross, just 3 days after its release, stood over at $360 million, which means they made a profit of nearly 7 times its original budget, which is obviously a success for a film. In 2016 so far, Deadpool has come third in the race for the highest grossing films worldwide. On this worldwide scale, it made a total gross of $360.2 million. Even though it is not the most successful film, being third on the list, you cannot argue its success in the industry that the film has had. Exhibition, distribution and promotion all go together for a film to gain its success. Nowadays, companies are at hand for film studios to do all of these things, and most of them certainly do it right.